This is All of It on WNYC. I'm Allison Stewart. It's summer. We're in a city. That's right. For the rest of this hour, we're continuing our Summer in the City series. At All of It, we've been going borough to uncover some of the hidden gems, outdoor spaces, and events happening all around your neighborhoods. Today, we continue with Manhattan. Summer can feel like an endless list of things to do. There's always a new exhibit to visit, a live performance around the corner. But perhaps some of the best experiences in Manhattan are tucked away in outdoor gardens or a drop-in dance class. We're joined by Alexa Weiser, author of the weekly Substack letter, City Happenings, which highlights a curated list of happenings across the boroughs. Welcome to All of It.
Thank you. Excited to be here.
Listeners, we want your thoughts. What are some underrated places in Manhattan you think people should go? What's your favorite Manhattan summer ritual? What are some hidden gems? Call in or text us right now at 212-433-9692, 212-433-WNYC. While we get some calls lined up, let's jump into your list. We just finished talking about the documentary You and Me in Chinatown. So let's stay in Chinatown. We'll talk about the Chinatown Storytelling Festival, which is taking place. What's this festival about?
Yeah, this is a really cool event put on by Think Chinatown. It's coming up later this month. And they're essentially putting together a bunch of screenings, talks, just a bunch of events and programming where you can learn about the history of the neighborhood. Some of them are even as funky as going on tofu tastings around the neighborhood. So it's a lot of just fun ways to experience and immerse yourself in Chinatown.
Now, is it free? Do I have to sign up? How do I go?
So most of them are free. A bunch of the screenings, recordings, you can just RSVP for free online at Think Chinatown. A few of the workshops are low cost, maybe $5, but mostly pay as you wish.
You went last year, right?
I did not go to this one last year. No.
Okay. All right. Tell us about Shop and Taste Workshop. Is that happening?
Yes. So that's the tofu tasting. This is the thing I'm most excited about this year. You essentially stop by a bunch of different stalls across Chinatown and get to taste different tofu flavors, which just seems very fun.
That seems really cool. Also, let's talk about another market that people can go to. I don't know how you pronounce this. It's Maum.
I had my Korean friend pronounce it for me. I'm sure I will not do it correctly, but she said Maum Market.
Maum Market, okay. And then where is it being held?
So this one's in the Seaport. It's all open air this weekend, actually, and it's fully featuring Asian-owned businesses, so small local designers all the way up to mid-size brands, and you can find anything from fun home accessories, jewelry, really a wide variety.
We are continuing our Summer in the City series. Today, we're discussing Manhattan. Joining us is Alexa Weiser. She's the author of City Happenings, which is a weekly Substack letter highlighting things to do and boroughs and things that you might not be on your list, but it should be. Listeners, we want to know what you think about this. Where should you go in Manhattan? What's your favorite place? What's your summer ritual in Manhattan? The number is 212-433-9692, 212-433-WNYC. Alexa, there's another Maker's Fair you suggest called Dilly Dally. It's described on its website as Dilly Dally is a curated fair for people who value the detour. What makes this particular fair different from other fairs?
Yeah, so this is actually a new one this year, which you don't find often. So very excited about it. It's really focused on works from artists that are still evolving. So think of it as like up-and-coming artists or folks with works in process. So I would think about it as a great way to discover someone new before, they've been found.
It's been kind of interesting. When you look on the website, it says like no resume or no CV needed. Just tell us what you're working on.
Yeah, they have applicants from really all over, so I'm excited to see their final list that they end up with. They have some of their vendors already listed, but I know it's still being curated, and I think it'll be an interesting cohort of people.
Even if you're not that much into shopping, what else can you do at the fair?
Well, there's some food stalls happening at Dilly Dally as well. And even if you're not into shopping, if you're into like art or figuring out what you might want to put on your walls, I guess that's a form of shopping. But there'll be quite a few drawings and paintings as well.
I saw some classes.
Oh, yes, there are also some workshops, a handful happening throughout the weekend. I think there's one on still life drawing. I'm not sure what the others are, but they seem really fun and like immersing you in the art world.
I signed up for one this morning.
I love that.
Doing this. I was like, I never heard of the Dilly Dally Fair. And I thought, like, this sounds really interesting. I'll try it out. We'll see what happens. That's the Dilly Dally Fair. All right, let's talk about dance. You suggest an amazing list of dance series taking place in August. Let's talk about Sunset Salsa at Pier 76. Tell us a little bit about Sunset Salsa.
This has to be one of my favorite finds in New York. It's just amazing to see strangers coming together and just dancing outside. I am certainly not a dancer myself, but they make it really accessible. They have a class for beginners that they start out with, and then everyone kind of just joins in on the dance floor outside. And it's really cool to see your city coming together in that way. It's happening every Thursday.
And does it happen? When does it happen? At night? At daytime?
In the evenings, yeah. I believe 6:30 or 7 is when it kicks off.
Do I have to bring a partner, or is that?
You do not. That's
really?
The thing. I actually went alone, which was, definitely outside my comfort zone. But people pulled me out. People taught me how to dance, and I had a blast.
You have to tell me more about the experience. So you go, you're by yourself. How does it start?
So it starts the first, I want to say 45 minutes or to an hour is actually a beginner class. Mm-hmm. So they're expecting you to either be on your own or be with some friends, but not know anything. And then after that, it opens up where everyone kind of can come out onto the dance floor. And so it just evolves more from the class into a free dance, kind of.
That's called the Sunset Salsa at Pier 76. There's more salsa in your list. Summer Salsa Socials. What's this about?
So those are happening in the court of the Hispanic Society. I think it's monthly as well, but again, very accessible. This one I haven't been to, but a friend recommended, so I'm actually checking out next week. And just seems like a fun way to meet new people. I hope it is as beginner friendly because I am certainly no expert.
And where does it take place?
That one's in the Hispanic Society, right in their main court.
We are continuing our Summer in the City series. Today, we are discussing Manhattan. Listeners, we want to know about your favorite things to do in Manhattan. What's your favorite place? Give us a call or text us now at 212-433-9692, 212-433-WNYC. We've got a text that says, Central Park, anywhere and everywhere. So much fun and completely free. This text says, Battery Park City. They have so much programming for kids, and you could practically fill every day with activities for kids from gardening, storytelling, and playtime outside. It's amazing. Give us your calls and texts. We want to know what you would do in Manhattan this summer, your favorite thing to do in Manhattan this summer. 212-433-9692. Okay, in Spanish Harlem, there's El Barrio Music Speaks Festival. It's been around for 3 or 4 years. Where is it located? What's the festival's main focus?
Yeah, so this one's in Spanish Harlem. It is not just dance. There's actually a lot of like food stalls and vendors all around. So it's more of like a night market than solely focused on dance. But I did go last year and it turned into a full dance floor as well. So just a fun place to spend an evening, grab dinner, and meet new people.
All right. So you also talk about the Battery Dance Festival. This is full of some pros.
Yes, this is for the pros. They do have some workshops that you can go to where they can like teach you dance on the side, but it's mostly focused on performances happening later in August. And you get performers from really all around the world, and it is completely free, and you just get access to professionals, which is hard to come by.
What kind of dancing is done at the Battery Dance Festival?
I believe it is all kinds. I know there's some focus on contemporary, but it's pretty wide-ranging. I know they have folks from all around the world coming in.
You wanted to shout out some community gardens nestled in a few neighborhoods. The first one is in the East Village, 6BC. Tell us about this space.
Yeah, the East Village has such a wonderful cluster of community gardens. It's a great place to go to escape just for a moment the city if it's becoming overwhelming. You can walk through a bunch of paths. They actually have a little treehouse in there. When I stopped by last year, they even had some live music going on. So it's a really great place to spend an afternoon, bring a book, post up for the day. But really, all around the city, there's community gardens tucked away. So encourage everyone to find their neighborhood garden.
Let's talk to Nora in Sleepy Hollow. Hey, Nora, thanks for calling All of It. You're on the air.
Thank you for taking my call. I love the show. I'm a devout listener. I have pitched this before. I busk in Central Park. I'm a solo, unamplified a cappella singer. Me and my old voice, as Billie Holiday said, singing sort of the songbook to a jazz kind of prism, but also the Ellington song you never heard and the Rodgers and Hart you never heard, and also some Dylan songs and other more contemporary stuff. And I've been doing it for, about 10 years. And hey, New Yorkers, come by. The tourists are wonderful. They applaud. They sit there and listen to songs in a row, which is a triumph with everybody on devices. And then they walk off and don't even drop a buck in the tip bag. So I need my peeps. And another favorite is the Jazzmobile concert, free around New York City. This Wednesday, tomorrow, it's going to be Houston Person, a great old school tenor sax player and a great band. And Houston Person is now in his early 90s and playing as beautifully as ever. And they're free. And another thing I'll plug, the season is over, but the Classical Theater of Harlem free play in Marcus Garvey Park. And there are sometimes pre-shows with classical singers. The Classical Opera of Harlem, I think it's called, and chamber music. It's just wonderful. And a pop-up market. And I keep telling Ty Jones he's got to get himself on your show before the season starts. I don't know if he did, but it seems a natural.
Thank you so much for calling in. Some of those were on your list as well. This says, I recently went to the Bellevue Sobriety Garden, which is a gorgeous secret garden behind Bellevue Hospital. There are many beautiful little niches to sit, and it's covered in handmade mosaic art pieces created by patients. It's unlike anywhere I've been in New York City. That sounds beautiful.
I love that. I want to do a tour of all the community gardens and learn about them all.
You suggested El Sol Brillante. Is that correct?
Yeah, so this one has a lot of programming, which I like. If you want to have a bit more of a schedule, they have meditation workshops, which I went to, and I think they have talks and just a lot going on all the time. So good to check out if you want something with a little bit more structure and want to be outside.
In the Upper West, you suggest the West Side Community Garden. What kind of cool events do they host there?
Yeah, they also have a lot of programming going on. They, are not too far from Shakespeare in the Park, so they have annual events and around like a Shakespeare festival going on where you can get readings before you, line up for some free theater.
This text says Bryant Park has a lot to offer during the summer. There's always a lecture, a class, an activity to check out, all for free. This text says, visit the Museum of Reclaimed Urban Spaces at C Squat Lower East Side. Amazing punk history. Listeners, we want to know, where should you go in Manhattan this summer? Where have you been that has been a truly great summer experience? Our number is 212-433-9692, 212-433-WNYC. You can help report this story. It's our Summer in the City series. Today we're discussing Manhattan. Alexa Weiser is the author of City Happenings, a weekly Substack letter. She's highlighting things to do in Manhattan. I wanted to mention Fort Tryon Park. You could spend the whole weekend there.
The whole weekend. I feel like people go for the cloisters, but there's just so much to do across the gardens, walking tours. There's a ton of pop-up music festivals, so a really great place to spend a beautiful outdoor weekend.
Let's talk about live music. Let's talk jazz. You are recommending the Charlie Parker Jazz Festival. When does this happen?
So this is kicking off later in August as well. It is all around the city. Some of the headline shows are more focused in Harlem, around Lincoln Center, but there's pop-ups even at community gardens that you can go to. And they also bring in other artists. So they use it as an opportunity to promote art beyond jazz. So there's an exhibit by local artists that I'm really excited about in Marcus Garvey Park, and lots of other just local artisans that come up through the festival.
That is the Charlie Parker Jazz Festival. One of our callers, I think it was Nora, she mentioned the Jazzmobile. First of all, how would you describe the Jazzmobile?
It is, as the name implies, I will say, so it is mobile. It moves around and pops up around Upper Manhattan and Harlem. I believe they stick to that area and put on shows. So definitely look out for the calendar and the schedule. Some things pop up as soon as, 2 weeks in advance, so it's worth keeping an eye on.
Let's talk about if you want to make one of these places a date spot.
Ooh.
Where can you eat and see jazz at the same time?
My favorite, it's a mix of happy hour eating jazz, is Poppy. I love it. It's in the East Village. You can post up on their sidewalk if you want to stay outside. They have jazz, I believe, every Wednesday night. Really great date night. Highly recommend.
Let's talk about a few inside places. The weather has been not great lately. It can get really hot. It can be pouring rain the next day. So tell us about the Center for Book Arts.
I love this one because it just goes to show how Manhattan has so much art and culture going on. We even have a center fully dedicated to books as an art object. So they're an organization. It's kind of a mix between a museum and a workshop space. But they host everything from author talks to bookbinding workshops, and it's a really great place to escape the heat.
Listeners, we want to hear from you. What are your favorite things to do in Manhattan during the summer? Do you have a favorite place? Did you visit some place that was spectacular and you want to tell other people about it? Our number is 212-433-9692, 212-433-WNYC. We're continuing our Summer in the City series. We are talking about Manhattan. Joining us is Alexa Weiser. She's the author of City Happenings, which is a weekly Substack letter highlighting things to do and boroughs that you might miss. I have a question for you. When did you start this newsletter?
I started it just over 2 years ago.
And what made you start it?
I was a little bit curious about a lot of things, is what I like to say. I feel like a lot of people have one niche, they dive in deeply, they're really into theater, they're really into art, and I was living in Manhattan, wanted to experience a bit of everything, and tracking this list for myself, and pretty soon some of my friends started asking for it, so I just decided to go for it and publish it.
That is so smart of you to just take your passion and put it to practice.
Exactly. It's mostly for myself. That's how it started. I love to figure out what's happening all around the city.
All right, let's go back to inside places. I had to ask that question. You recommend Poster House. They're often guests on this show. Tell people about Poster House.
I love that. They're a really cool museum. They have exhibits, focused on the poster as an art form, which is very niche. They had one that was focused on shoes last year that I really enjoyed, where you could even go in and workshop your own Nike shoe. So a lot of iconic posters come through, and they have some really great First Fridays programming as well that I would check out.
And you suggest Poets House in Battery Park City. Tell us about Poets House.
Yeah, it's another beautiful space, very well air conditioned, so great to escape the heat. But you can essentially overlook the Hudson, go in, read a book. They have some summer series as well for poetry readings that you can stop by. And a little bit off the beaten path. I feel like a lot of people don't know about that one.
And where is it?
That one's in Battery Park City.
This says, shout out to Hustle Club. They have bi-weekly open social dance sessions and also start with a dance lesson if you're a beginner at the Imperial Ballroom Dance Center in Chinatown, a room full of joy. We also got a text that says, Bryant Park has free yoga in the park Wednesday night, 6 to 7. So fun with incredible instructors. Rodney Yee and Colleen Seidman Yee will be teaching class August 12th. They make yoga accessible to all levels and safe. They've been teaching together for decades and some of the most influential instructors in the U.S. today. That's sort of interesting when you're by yourself and you want to go try one of these events. What advice could you give people who want to go out, they want to go to one of these social dances, they want to go to something, but they're by themselves?
What I always tell myself is not to put too much pressure on myself, to just go for 15 minutes, and if I'm really hating it, I can always go home. But to just show up and be fully present, put your phone in your pocket, try to talk to one or two people, and more often than not, you'll end up loving it, meeting someone new, and really immersing yourself.
Let's talk to Stuart in the East Village. Hey, Stuart, thanks for calling All of It. What's going on?
My pleasure. Thank you for taking my call. Yeah, I'm going to shout out the East River Resiliency Park, the thing that, was built in lieu of Sandy for resiliency. The park that I go to starts around at the Delancey Street at the Williamsburg Bridge. It goes north just a couple blocks because they're building north, but from the South. It's great. They did a really great job raising that whole bank, and then also like creating hills and like natural setting there. It's really, really, really cool. It's like a new Highline. It's great.
You put something on my list to do. Thanks, Stuart. Let's talk to Deborah from Brooklyn. Hey, Deborah. Thanks for calling All of It.
Hi. Thank you so much for taking my call. So my favorite thing to do, especially when we get out-of-town guests, is we go to the New York Botanical Garden. But we don't just go to the garden. We go to the conifer collection, which is all the way in the back. There's usually nobody there. That's where all the propagation houses are. And I bring watercolors and watercolor paper, and even my friends who say they are not artists, they explore a little side to themselves, and we just paint. And then when we're hungry, we walk over to Arthur Avenue and get the best darn Italian food in the city.
That sounds like a great time. Thanks for calling in. We got a text that says Studio Museum in Harlem, Roof Garden and the Stoop, then dinner at Maison Harlem. Got another text that says Bruce's Garden, Public Garden in Inwood. So if you had just 1 day or 2 days in Manhattan, how would you spend it, Alexis? Alexa, excuse me.
Impossible question, but I wouldn't try to do it all. I think I would pick 1 or 2 neighborhoods and really go deep. I recently had an amazing day in Chinatown where I started off on a self-guided food tour, ate a bunch of dumplings, went vintage shopping at Ludlow Flea. You can find something there all the time. I got a great vintage tea. And I ended up ending the day with a glass of orange wine at Purcell. It was a wonderful, wonderful day, but I like to just go really deep and walk a neighborhood across all their streets and discover it organically.
I did that a couple of weeks ago. I went to Ridgewood,
Nice.
Queens, and just spent the day going from vintage shop. I had lunch at Pierogi Boys. I had something delicious at Rudy's. And it was just like, I just dropped in. And it was a great way to spend the day in Ridgewood, Queens.
It's the best way, not to just drop in, but really go deep.
Is there any other place that you wanted to shout out that you didn't get to?
There is one, Selma Gundy Club, which I recently discovered, and I hope I am saying correctly. It is an organization and it's an art center in New York, but it's not, one of the big museums or galleries. And I think Manhattan is such a center of art and culture, and I feel like there's so much focus on the bigger spaces, but there's so many historic buildings where the architecture is so beautiful that are actually also open to the public. So would definitely check out that one.
Alexa Weiser's Substack letter is called City Happenings. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thanks to all of our callers. If you want to know about any of these places, it'll be available on our transcripts. They should be up on the website tomorrow. Coming up on All of It, in Ann Patch's latest novel, a chance encounter at the Metropolitan Museum of Art reunites 2 people and changes the course of their lives. It is titled Whistler, and coming up, she joins us to discuss. That's next after the headlines. This is All of It.